Apparently, Dragon Age is an absolute disaster, but it's also a perfect game, and it's selling really well. I don't know what to believe. I know I keep seeing like it's really woke, but you know what? It is pretty woke. I've seen some ridiculous stuff, man, and I have a hot take. I don't think that they went hard enough. I don't think they went nearly hard enough. I think they should have went all in. They just kind of half-assed it, man. Nut up or shut up. Go hard or go home. And they were not near inclusive enough. Like, where's the wheelchairs? You can have the surgery scars, so you can have your tits cut off, even though you can change your gender with magic. It's been a thing this whole time. Why can't I have one tit? There are people out there with one tit. I feel like that me myself should have one tit, and I feel like they're excluding people like me who want to have one tit, one single booby. And this video is from Fextra Life. The truth about Dragon Age Veilguard reviews.
In this Dragon Age The Veilguard review, we're going to be talking about why we're actually not doing a review for The Veilguard today, why this should matter to you, and why it's important. We don't normally make videos like this on the Fex for Life YouTube channel. We typically stay out of drama. You'd be hard-pressed to find more than a handful of these across the entire 3,000 some odd videos we've ever made. But what I want to talk about today is going to impact the way that you watch reviews today, the ones that are coming out today, and this information should not be kept from you. Before I get into that, though, just a little bit of background about Fextra Life's history with Dragon Age. Dragon Age Origins is one of my...
Like, if you're gonna do early review copies, let me see the entire game. Or what's the point? I don't care. I want to see the game. I'm not gonna play it though, for for one thing. I wasn't gonna play it even if it was a good game. I'm just here for the memes and the ha-has. Oh, my favorite franchise was destroyed. It's a shit company. All these companies are after is money, microtransactions. Ubisoft, EA, Activision, Blizzard, Microsoft, Epic, Warner Brothers. I can just keep naming them. They keep poisoning all of their games, all of their beloved IPs, and you know what? I'm here for it. Let them do it.
all-time favorite games. I get asked all the time, what are my top 5 games? And Dragon Age Origins is consistently in that list. That has never changed in the entire time since I played that game. We also made a Dragon Age Inquisition wiki in 2014 when that game launched, so we've been covering Dragon Age for at least 10 years, maybe longer. And Fex also managed to rescue the Dragon Age forums when BioWare was bought by EA because they were shutting down those forums. We got permission from BioWare to rescue those forums, export them, and import them onto the Fex for Life forum. So you can still find those Dragon Age forums today on our site. We've been in constant communication with EA and BioWare for years about this title. We've been assured we're getting a code multiple times over the years. We've been in constant communication with them. They keep sending us stuff about the game. We've also been covering the game during that time with constant news articles. We've done several videos about the game. But most importantly, I think that our audience is the audience for this title. I think you'd be hard-pressed to find another channel out there that's our size that is so specifically targeted to RPGs that fits the profile for this game. So following all this, we were invited by EA to attend a preview event for
Red flag number one, when you get invited by a game company as a reviewer.
Dragon Age The Veilguard in September with a lot of other press and content creators. We were by no means the only ones doing this. And after attending that event, we made our impressions video from playing the game, which has close to 300,000 views on our YouTube channel right now, which I think is one of the most viewed impressions videos for that game at this time. If you watch that video, the general sentiment is that we were cautiously optimistic about the game. We praised its gameplay, character depth, but we weren't completely sold about the storytelling in the long run, although we only got to play a very little bit of time, so we weren't entirely sure. And in general, we didn't really like the character models, the design style of them, which I think a lot of people don't. In general, it was a pretty positive impression of the video, and I want to play for you the closing audio from that video right now so you can see what we told our audience at the end of that video. I still have issues with the game, mainly that I don't like the UI and that the dialogues didn't seem to be on par with what you could get in other story-focused games that have come out in the last decade, and that I didn't yet get a point where I felt a bond or much interest with my companions, who are integral to the story. It's funny that I have pretty much been playing these games for the story and getting through the combat, but I may actually be playing the Veilguard to enjoy the combat and get through the story to see the end. How everything works together and progresses into a full game remains to be seen, and there were several big and impactful...
What's with this box right here? Is this to let you know this is the streamer box? I don't know, this is weird. Why is it here? I don't like it. and it's a good place to put my box. All it says is I played it, it's good, but it's the thumbnail. That might be why I put it there so people can see the thumbnail. Smart, smart. You know what? You know what? Yeah.
Events that I cannot discuss, but so far my opinion on this has become more positive, and I would like to urge anyone who loves CRPGs to hang in there and wait for reviews and not write the game off just yet. And just to illustrate how mild that our criticisms were of the Veilguard, after publishing our impressions video, we got called shills. Some people accused us of being paid by BioWare and EA to promote the game, which of course we're obviously not. I was even contacted by another content creator who had attended the.
Yeah, the problem is it's not woke enough. They needed to put more woke stuff in it. Now it's just gonna fall flat. People are gonna talk about it for like next couple weeks, and then nobody's gonna play it, and then nobody's gonna talk about it again, and it's just gonna be the second worst Dragon Age until the next one comes out, and it's probably gonna be worse than this one, or maybe it might be the best Dragon Age. I don't know. I still ain't gonna play it.
Event that asked me why my criticisms were worded more cautiously and asked me if I was concerned when I made my video that I'd be denied access to a review code. To which, of course, I replied, no, I'm not worried about getting denied access to review code. That simply doesn't happen in the gaming industry. But I was not concerned about this at all. I reassured him that he shouldn't be concerned about this because it's just not really a thing in the gaming industry. It's so rare that it shouldn't scare someone into not saying what they think about a game. So after publishing our video, nearly immediately, our contacts at EA and BioWare stopped replying and communication went to zero. So we started inquiring as to what was happening and reaching out to other contacts in the industry in a bit wider of a circle to try and figure out what's happening. As a result, we discovered that we were essentially getting fake reassurances that we were getting a code to keep us happy while denying us access to the Veilguard. It wasn't too long after this that I began to be contacted by other press and content creators about whether or not we had a code, and generally speaking, I get this a lot. People tend to ask me whether I have a code or not because we generally get codes for all the big games. I'm not trying to brag. It's just simply reality. We have a large channel. We almost always get a code, and another creator or press can figure out if.
I never want a code. I don't care about the codes. I don't ever want to have a code for early access to one of these video games. In my opinion, don't listen to reviewers anymore. Don't even listen to reviewers. Wait until day one. See what people got to say about it. If it's not good day one, then don't get it. Wait a month. If it's good in a month, get it. If it's not, don't get it. And then wait a year. It's good, get it. If not, then don't. You know? That's what I do.
They should have a code right now if they're going to get one or not by asking us this question, which is what happened here. And we started piecing together between us that some people had codes and others didn't, including ourselves. And you might have also seen Wolfheart's tweets about this topic on Twitter or X, and Luke Stevens' video about this topic as well. Both of those individuals were with us in California for the preview event, and both of them put out preview videos as well as ours. And I think between the three of us, we probably have some of the three most viewed videos on this topic.
You keep buying these shitty games. I mean, you kind of get what you deserve. It's like, I have friends that know that this game is not going to be good. They're going to play it anyway. Well, they're going to buy it anyway and play it for maybe like 10 hours and then not ever think about it again. It's just going to be sitting in their library with the hundreds upon hundreds of other games that they've bought. And lots of them they did the exact same thing with. And they're not going to change their habits.
Or at least most commented on, I would say. And if you read those tweets and you watch that video, you can tell clearly that they also feel some way that they were intentionally excluded by EA from review access for some unknown reason, likely because of critical comments they made in their preview video, even though most of the things they said were positive about the game, just like us. And these are just two individuals that are speaking out about this, but we do know that there are at least a handful of other content creators and press that were left out, maybe more, that share a similar sentiment, that feel like they were deliberately prevented from giving their own opinions to their own audience about this game.
They were, but you shouldn't expect it. You should expect that this happens. I think the real reviewers let the game companies get to them long time ago. Because this isn't new. I've been seeing this happen for a very long time.
It is feeling like EA is deliberately trying to prevent us from telling you what we think about the game, and they want you to hear it from someone else.
Remember Sonic 06? Remember Sonic the Hedgehog? They weren't sending out copies of it and people were just like, "What is this game? What is wrong with this game?" That was all the way back in like 2005, 2006.
So you then have to ask yourself, why would EA do this? What is their angle? What are they trying to accomplish by doing this? After the previews came out, I think it became very apparent that most of the people who were still interested in Veilguard after watching the previews were waiting for reviews to.
I just want $50, 15-hour experiences with stylized graphics. Make indies great again. We used to have so many indies that were pushed by the big companies like Microsoft and Sony, the console owners. They don't do that no more. It's always like these IPs that have been around for decades at this point. Call of Duty, Halo, Destiny. We're in the second decade of Destiny, or we're entering it. I don't know. Oh, somewhere around there. We need some new creative stuff, man. And it doesn't have to be super over the top realistic, because we have 1,000 of those. And if everything looks realistic, everything looks like real life, then everything looks the same.
Make their final decision about whether or not to purchase the game. If you just read comments in any YouTube video about the Veilguard or look at the poll on our community page, you can see that the vast majority of people that are still interested are waiting for reviews. Looking at this, EA's marketing team probably saw this and decided that they needed to make the reviews as positive as possible, trying to exclude those that might, give the game a 7 or an 8, while also reaching out and finding press and content creators that would maybe give the game a 9 or above. Just think about this for a second. If you're on the EA end and you're trying to manipulate review scores because you want high review scores, what are you going to do? You're going to research press and content creators and what they usually give to games score-wise to give you a general idea of how they're going to review your game. For us, we never give games 10s. 9s are extremely rare. Most games we give reviews to fall somewhere in the 7 or 8 range, while other places, you know who they are, always give 9s and 10s, and frankly, it's hard to take them seriously. And this is why I made this video, because you guys told us in no uncertain terms that you're waiting for reviews, and you're about to get a bunch of reviews that have been curated by the publisher for their likelihood of being extremely positive.
I, for one, am a huge fan of reviews. I love reviews. IGN is my favorite place to look up for reviews. I just love to see what they got to say about a game, especially when they start talking about woke stuff. It's great. I love it.
In an attempt to manipulate your view of Dragon Age the Veilguard. They want you to think there is a universal consensus that the game is amazing, thereby convincing you that you should try it, but also influencing future review scores, as it's difficult to be the outlier. If you've ever done a review for a game or for something, you'll realize that if you're the only one giving a high review score when everyone else is giving it a low review score, it's difficult. Or if you're the only one giving it a low review score and everyone else is giving it a high review score, it's a very difficult position to be in. So if you see a bunch of positive review scores come out today, think about all the people that are going to be playing afterward and how much pressure they're going to feel to give the game slightly better score than they would have given it, just to avoid maybe some undue pressure. And sometimes that doesn't even happen consciously. It's just done subconsciously.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done being serious about all this stuff. I'm done hating on it. I'm done trying to be an activist about it to get our games normal again. And you know what? I'm just gonna embrace it and make fun of the downfall of all of these garbage companies that charge you microtransactions for full price games. Oh, you missed the season pass? Pay $20. You can get the last season pass. You pay $20. You get the season pass before that. Don't forget to get the current season pass and the ultimate season pass, or the battle pass, whatever it's called. It's all the same. Money. Money, 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 money.
And I want to be very clear here that I don't think that the press and creators publishing their videos early are going to be lying. However, these reviewers have been screened to maximize the chances that you're seeing positive reviews. There will probably be some exceptions, of course. I don't think everyone's going to give the game a positive review. But EA is banking that those are few and far between in an attempt to keep the aggregate score of the game high. This has only happened one other time that I'm aware of in the some 10 odd years I've been doing this, and that is with Cyberpunk 2077, which followed a similar pattern where we were constantly reassured we were getting a code for years but never got one, and suddenly reviews were out and everyone was praising the game, giving it 9s and 10s, except one journalist who dared to give it an 8 and was ripped to shreds for it. But then the fans got their hands on the game, and well, you know the rest. It wasn't what was promised, and we were forced to make one of the most disappointed videos.
I, for one, I'm gonna go ahead and say, knowing nothing about Dragon Age Veilguard, it's a solid 4.8. Go ahead, rip me to shreds. Tell me that's too high a score.
I've ever made in my gaming career. However, in the case of CD Projekt Red, they own their shit, and the game is in a much better place now, though they lost trust by what happened with that game. And in CD Projekt Red's case, they had already garnered quite a positive reputation, so they survived the backlash. However, neither BioWare or EA have shining reputations in the gaming industry, and many people think this is BioWare's last chance to prove they still have it. This is the worst possible start to demonstrating whether or not that is true. So, what does this mean for Extra Life? Honestly, nothing has changed. I'm going to buy the game, I'm going to make our review, and I'm going to like the game or not based on the merit of the game, same as we've always done. I'm not going to let EA's bullshit influence our review or its score. We decided to make this video after some deliberation for you, the viewer, because we couldn't in good conscience let this pass without saying something and let you be duped into thinking this title is one way when it in fact may be completely different. There are a lot of moving parts behind the scenes in the gaming industry that you will likely never know about, such as executives for publishers getting bonuses based on review scores, with higher score being bigger bonuses. Maybe you didn't know that. The tactic that EA has taken with Dragon Age the Veilguard may prove to be successful, but should be entirely unnecessary if the game is in fact good.
It's not going to be successful. Maybe it'll seem successful right at the beginning, but they thought this was going to be a knockout. They thought it was going to be like a 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10. You can see the reviews, but the sales aren't saying that it's going to be that. I mean, they're good. They're good, don't get me wrong. But nobody's going to hold on. It's not going to be a game that people are going to stick with and play. And it's going to be a game that people are going to talk about for years as the woke Dragon Age game. And that, I think that's kind of what they wanted. And sure, but I don't think they went hard. They should have hammered it down, man. Cut your nuts up or shut up, or nut up or shut up, whatever the phrase is.
But it's not good for you, the consumer, and because they did this, you should not purchase the game based on initial reviews, but instead wait for players to get their hands on the game and tell you how things actually are, so that there is a true consensus, not one that is manufactured by a large corporation who clearly doesn't care about its community or community members, but in fact,
You better be barking at something.
only cares about the bottom line. And believe me when I say that I would much rather be publishing a Dragon Age the Veilguard review today rather than this video. This is not a video that I really wanted to make, but I thought it was very important to get this information out to you.
I really wanted to make this video. I've been kind of looking forward to it until this game came out.
And again, no disrespect to any content creators or press out there that are putting out their reviews today. This video is not aimed at attacking them in any way. It's simply aimed at informing you about what is going on with Dragon Age the Veilguard and why you might want to take these things into account when you're watching reviews today and tomorrow.
Is this the downfall of gaming? I don't think so. I think we're still going to get great games all the time, more than I can even keep up with and purchase and play. What I do think is dying, though, is nostalgia. I think nostalgia is being killed. I think that they're taking all of the things that you once loved and are destroying it. And you know what? So what? It all ends up being boring mush eventually anyway, because the original people that worked on the original stuff aren't involved anymore. And then everybody's got their own agenda and they want to put their own stuff into it and they want to put themselves into it. And it's just like, just let it die. Just stop. When you got it, when you got an ending, end it.